to Dodo Modern Poets, our spring tides evening. Before we start, is everybody okay with this fan being on here at the front? It's not distracting you, is it? No. Anyway, keep the room from soaring to 100 degrees or something. So welcome to the Poetry Cafe. If you've not been here before, the bar is upstairs. You probably found that. The loos are at the back there. The show will be in two halves with roughly a 20-minute interval. And so the evening should finish by about 10. So that's where we are. And we've got a fantastic lineup tonight. We've got two poets that are new to Dodo Modern Poets, not been on with us before, James Easton and Anne Macaulay. We've got a very welcome return from Penny Faulkner, and I'm Patric Cunnane, so I'll be also reading some poems and generally hoping helping to keep things running along smoothly, hopefully. The event is being filmed, so you'll be able to watch it all again on our blog website in a few days' time, and so that's it really. So I'm going to kick off. This first poem is set in Cornwall. I was walking up on the hills above St Ives one afternoon, and I came across this wooden bench which was inscribed in loving memory of Bridget Inglis, and it's in a beautiful spot just looking out over the Atlantic. So I thought, obviously Bridget was someone who was loved very much by her friends and family to have created this nice monument. I just tried to imagine what her life might be about. So this is in loving memory of Bridget Inglis. Here with eyes you cannot borrow, walk as rest on your weathered frame, the smooth hill on which you stand, as green as memories kept your name, high enough, safe enough from the boiling down below. Sometimes a tired walker sleeps the length of you, eyes blinking out the Atlantic sun. Your peopled neighbour polishes its bistros before evening comes. Those who sleep with you now cannot enter the woman remembrance loves. They envy your quietude, yet breathe. They match your footstep shadow with their own. This still you are, still not alone. You know, I'm going to experiment with turning that off, because if you're standing here, it's quite noisy, but if you're starting to faint, let me know. This is a poem I wrote earlier this year. We were invited to do a show for Chinese New Year, and so I wanted at a Chinese restaurant run by a friend of mine. I wanted to do something about Tibet, so this is a poem called The Darkest Stars, and it's about the fact that since 2009 more than 100 Tibetans have self-immolated in protest against Chinese occupation, many of them young monks or nuns, and most of them died from their injuries. So this is The Darkest Stars. Through these flames we seek freedom, our immolated flesh singeing dark as stars. Our voice is speaking, listeners recoil at this challenge to our rude imprisonment. The scorching of our precious soil, our exiled leaders' eloquent resistance. As a new year turns, spare a prayer for us, set it spinning on your wheel. Understand our desperate plea, our reddening anger, our white-hot steel. Thank you very much. An undertaker has said that he's going to start taking bookings to bury bodies in deep space. So, wow, I thought, great. Let's give that a go. So this is called OIP, Orbit in Space. My darling is out of this world in the most unusual way, since we buried her in deep space, just a mile from the Milky Way. A shooting star in life, she wanted to go in style. Now she's halfway to paradise, my lovely revolving wife. First woman to spend eternity in space, nearer, my God, to thee than the rest of the human race, than all of your doctors and judges, vicars and political bores. My darling is out of this world, knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. And I want to join her there when my earthly race is run in an aluminium casket whizzing past the sun, where things that go bump in the galaxy won't disturb our eternal rest as we orbit the old homestead, space birds who have flown the nest. It's the ghost of the Poetry Cafe. Do come in. Two of our poets on tonight, both Anne and Penny, have very strong connections with Scotland, and by chance I've chosen to read this poem, which I wrote after hearing a Scottish woman on the radio describing her life amongst show folk, travelling fairgrounds, and how she felt about her life since she started living in a fixed home. So this is called Show Folk. I miss that feeling, waking, not knowing where you're facing, wriggling your toes, listening for clues, a rustle of trees to see, not knowing where you are, not caring. Now each day is like another. I look out on one road, greet the same neighbours, know where I am in this world, a world which is not my world. Show folk move around like something out of nature, stars, birds, fish, dear to a feeding ground. I miss the closeness, the sharing, the view that was always changing. My new house has everything I need. My home had all I desire. The flame has dimmed. I can taste the fire. I no longer live in the city. I've moved to the coast, but I wrote this poem when I was thinking sometimes how paranoid we get living in a city. So this is The Lions in the Jungle. Sometimes I stay awake, listening for the lions in the jungle. Of late they have been reticent. I imagine they must be wearing slippers. I search the yard for paw prints. Each morning, nothing. It's a puzzle. I know little of their sex life. I expect they sleep around like other creatures of the night. My wife has been missing 3 years. I think the lions in the jungle ate her. I can't be certain. She didn't leave a note, just popping out for a bite. The lions in the jungle make me feel secure. When you have them to fear, it is pointless fearing people. The neighbours pretend not to have heard of the lions. What lions, they exclaim. This is city, not jungle. I'm certain they are mad. Or just ordinary folk scared of their own shadows. So scared of the lions they refuse to acknowledge their existence. You and I know different, do we not? We take precautions to keep the lions on our side, or at least at bay. An ornamental pool of milk, compost bins full of fish, fresh deer hanging on spits, bonfires to keep the lions warm. I invite them round for dinner. They are shy, poor dears. But in the morning, the food is always gone. I'm certain the neighbours are mad. They say it's just kids, but you and I know different, do we not? You and I have counted the long blonde hairs in the damp grass, noted the occasional article of underclothing playfully stolen from washing lines by irreverent cubs then left behind, mused over flattened patches of grass where the big lions have evidently rolled in play. You and I know what the lions in the jungle get up to. Such horrid, perverse creatures, no respect for their betters. They forget who built the jungle, who designed these concrete trees. I am certain the neighbours are mad. They say it's a city like any other. They say it's not jungle. They refuse to believe in lions. They simply refuse to share our fears. Selfish lot. You and I know better, do we not? This is the last poem in my first set. Each poet you see tonight will be on in each half, hopefully doing some different poems in each half. I wrote this one after there was an exhibition in Newcastle of postcards, and the exhibition focused on the fact that postcard photographers have chosen to put a figure in red as a focal point in the picture, very much like Constable did in his landscapes. And I was thinking about this, I was thinking, that's all very well, but if you want to go to the seaside wearing a red shirt or a red pullover, and you find yourself being chased by paparazzi who want to put you in their postcard, it's not so good, is it? So this is a plea to let my people be free and allow the man in the red pullover to walk unhindered by the sea. Spot him if you can, the man in the red pullover, strolling along the sand. He's the universal walker, at home in every land, so cool he walks alone, with no one by his hand. Maybe he has a dog, but he doesn't let that show. He's not in any hurry, got no particular place to go. He lives for the summer and enjoys it all alone. You'll find him on the promenade, that's his special home. The man in the red pullover cries to his secret heart, why is it so cold inside when I'm so important to postcard art? I'm a lonely man in a red pullover. I stroll down to the sea. Those waves need never roll, for all they mean to me. We've been waiting for you. Okay, I'm going to introduce our next act.